I would never had imagined that I would be selling pre-owned clothing on eBay as my primary income. It just blows my mind. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Really do appreciate you being here. If you are new here, my name's Chris and I'm building a business that suits my lifestyle. I've now officially hit 1 year of selling pre-owned clothing on eBay. A lot of this has just blown my mind to think where I was 1 year ago, let alone three years ago, because this is my 4th year taking a chance on me in building a business and creating a lifestyle that I want. We started off reselling everything. We started off then going to a bit more niche of books and media. And then a year ago, I took the plunge into dive deep into the world of clothing. I'm gonna do some work over here, less than an hour or so, just see what I can bang out. And yeah, appreciate you. All right, team, I have done a whole bunch of different clothing just now. Whipped out, this is jeans, some pants, skirt, and lots of shirts. I've done a total of 14, not the 15, because that's the finishing lap. I don't know how well you can see this, but 14 in a total of 36 minutes and 15 seconds. Best time was 1:28. Worst time was 4:12. So lots of opportunity here. Have this little here for put measurements, take a picture. Still getting things a bit better, but I'm definitely enjoying the jeans probably more than the shirts. I need to change this for the shirts because it's got that felt on it so it sticks to it, but the jeans it's really good for. So yeah, quick little update. I'm pretty happy with this. I'd come here and bang out, you know, some photos. I've got a whole bunch of new shorts here, not new shorts, like new shorts for me in terms of stock. We're going to start to just bang through these, see how long we got. I've actually got another tub there full of them, but today I'm just testing out shorts, seeing how that process goes, just getting set up, ready to rumble. Got to clear these out. Basically we'll just do a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, in this case pre-owned clothing. And yeah, it was a bit of a gamble, but it was a calculated risk. And I want to take you through in this video some of my thoughts around that, some of the results of that, but also the key lessons that I've learned over the last 1 year in doing clothing on eBay. So it's been a very interesting journey over the last 1 year, and it all really started around January, February 2023, where I decided to invest around $1,800 investment into a whole bunch of clothing. This was primarily jeans, but there was shirts as well, and it's kind of just slingshot from there. But I took the plunge knowing that I needed to be able to spend a bit to really put some skin into it, right? Put some meat into it, really making sure that I'm putting things on the line. And I needed an amount of volume to ensure that I was able to, okay, go through this and get enough reps to understand, how do I photo these? How do I identify them? How do I understand them? How do I process them? How do I wash them? How do I list them? And then how do I sell them? And then how do I post them? So many different things here. And from that, the rest is now history. It's been a good 1 year, and since January 2023, I've actually sold over $93,000 worth of clothing. Now, that's about 2,556 items, but to think about that, yes, this is only revenue, and we're not going to talk profits in this because that's diluted with the rest of the business and everything else that I sell. But to think that in 1 year, I started from zero, not knowing anything about clothing, and we've been able to turn that into just shy of $100,000 blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Now, my learnings of clothing really only came from seeing other people do it. I had no knowledge of it. I remember seeing 2 Aussie thrifters selling stuff. I remember seeing Judder, Diary of a Flipper. He was selling jerseys. And it was just never something that I could really attain to or get a grasp of. I could never find it. And here we are. I was able to break that mentality, and I've been able to be successful in actually selling the clothing. Now, just to be frank, I won't talk about profits because, as I said, that's diluted, but the cost of goods for all this clothing, that $93,719 worth, is just shy of $27,000 worth of cost of goods. So I have really paid up, which it just blows my mind of that's how much we've spent. But the reality is that's what I needed to do in order to get the results that I was looking for. And those things I'm still fine tuning. Now today, I'm actually going to be you're gonna get to see it all as it happens. I'm testing out a few new processes, so I'm going to take you there, fill you in all the details, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so to cut a long story short, I got another storage unit. I'm going to take you up there right now, but it's different. It's not actually for the intention to actually store stuff. It's actually for the intention to do operations. And what I mean by that is have all my clothing come through, process it, photo it, and get it ready for listing. And then it goes straight into storage into the next one, which is actually right next to it. So I'm going to give you a bit of a run through of how that kind of works. I'm actually getting 150 kilos of clothing dropped off right at this moment. I'm just actually waiting for it to arrive, and that's been washed, it's been dried, it's been cleaned, and it means it's going to be ready to just come straight in and just go straight into photoing. So this is all jeans, this is all shirts, a few other things in there as well. And I've been testing this over the last couple of weeks, and the jeans at the moment, this is the first time doing the jeans. So it's all happening. It is all happening, but I didn't want to hold off any longer because I need to get moving, and it's kind of like weird trying to, you know, beat around the bush when trying to share information. So these are about to arrive. I'm going to take them up and kind of give you a bit of an experience as I go through it all. Dun, 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 dun. All right. This is the new home, where it all happens. Clothing all comes in here, which we're going to do in a second, and this is where it's all going to happen from going forward. Woohoo! Boom, surprise, a big change. So actually just had another big drop off and opening of more clothes while this was happening. It wasn't planned, it was a bit, anyway, all good. So you've actually seen not only all the stuff that's already been washed, dried and cleaned, which I started to prep through, but then I had all this arrive and has started to sort through as well. So just getting this all sorted right now, and that's essentially what I'm going to be doing here. But I'll quickly take numbers aside, financials aside. I want to get into 6 lessons that I've learned over the last 1 year while diving into clothing and selling it on eBay. And lesson number 1 is quantity is easy, but quality is hard. Clothes are everywhere. Literally, you walk into an op shop and there's the main product that people have in op shops is, if it's not books, it's likely clothing. And in more particular, it's usually women's clothing. Now, from that, the problem is not all these clothes are what people want. There's quantity of clothes, but not clothes that everyone wants. And there's also a quantity of clothes that aren't worth much. So finding that quality, it requires a whole bunch of different things. It requires understanding, it requires knowledge, it requires time, and it requires effort. And it also means that you have to be willing to learn. So that was the first thing that I had to learn. But the beauty was I paid up, right? You don't have to spend $1,800 to go learn how to sell clothing. You can spend the time and learn it, going through op shops, learning off other people. It takes time. For me, I wanted to snowball that, slingshot that process by taking a gamble on that money and turning it into something that's going to force me to learn about a product. Lesson number two is networking and relationships. People are what create these opportunities. And if we don't communicate with people, we can't create such opportunities. We need to be building consistency. We need to be building a loyalty and a conversation with other people, whether it's reaching out to people in socials, in having conversations with them, getting opportunities to purchase off them, or finding other brands or finding other people that are doing this and learning from them and finding out how they got involved. And then when you do find people that can supply you, whether it is an op shop, whether it is a supplier, whether it's a wholesaler, and working with them and helping them achieve their goals in order for you to achieve your goals. And what I mean by that is, if their goals is they want to build their brand awareness, or if their goals is they want to have a certain amount of revenue, if you're helping them achieve that, they're going to look after you too, right? And we have to respect that. It's like you trying to build your own brand. You want to be able to bring something across the table that your customers see. And if they're supporting that, you're going to want to support them as well. So networking and relationships has been a key part. And it's not just from, going out and sourcing products, but also just keeping yourself honest, learning from other people, seeing who else is doing it. There is hundreds, if not thousands of people doing this, in particular, clothing I'm talking about. And I'm really just a pipsqueak. and I'm super noobish at it, super early into the game, but it's been a very rewarding 1 year. So something to really think about, whatever category you're selling on eBay, whatever you're doing, this is super relevant. Now, I'm just going to pause here right now. This video isn't me to tell you that you should be selling clothing. This video isn't here to say that, you know, what I think you should be doing in order to level up your reselling business. This is purely me telling you what I've been doing and the lessons that I've learned from it. There's probably something here that you can take away and apply to yourself. It doesn't have to be clothing. It can be anything in reselling. But at the end of the day, I'm running a business. This is how I'm running my business. And these are the things that I'm doing to try and be successful in my business. And if you've got questions along the way, chuck them down below and I'll do my best to answer. Lesson number 3 is better volume does not always mean better margins. Now, I've learned this. I've been paying up for, you know, washing. I've been paying up for stock. I've been paying up for having people work for me. I've been paying up for storage, all these things. And as I've done that, I've increased the volume. And it doesn't mean that we're making more money. We need to be able to process it. We need to be able to sell it. We need to be able to work with that, right? You know, store it, wash it, prep it, process it, all these different things. Cost of goods are high on good quality clothing. Not always. People do have opportunities to get things cheaper. I'm still working on that, getting it cheaper than what I've currently got it at. But the reality is, it doesn't always just mean that the more you spend, the more money you will make. You need to be able to figure out that sweet spot, leverage that, and then you can start to grow on it. I'm learning this very, very, frankly, I'm learning this very, very quickly, but it's been a fun process to learn. Number 4 is knowledge is power. Now, this applies to anything. When we have an understanding of something, when we have knowledge, it gives us confidence and it enables us to save time. It creates power to execute, to make a decision, and it also enables us to create a speed to market. The beauty of when we have knowledge is, and a good example of this is if I go into an op shop or Savers, I can pull things off racks really quickly because I know that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. It's the ones that I don't know about and I have to stop and research and look them up. Now, we still need to do it. We still need to learn. But when you have acquired enough information, you're able to just go in there and beat the other people that are trying to figure it out. This applies to books, media, clothing, all categories of business, all categories. If you have the knowledge, it enables you to do with confidence and to execute and save you time. Number 5 is anyone can do this. Now, I don't mean this like saying it as just a generalized term, but seriously, when I started reselling, I was not selling clothing. I didn't know anything about it. As I told you, I've learned from other people watching their videos, and then I realized I needed to find a way to have a consistency of volume of sales. I did the research and I took the plunge into clothing, and I would never have imagined that this is what I would be doing. I hated clothing when I started. It just didn't make sense to me. And I started with no knowledge. I took the plunge and I've learned. Again, I'm not here to say you should start selling clothing. I'm here to say if there's something that you want to learn, spend the time learning it. Spend the time understanding it. Do some calculations, do some research, take notes, learn, and then try it a little bit. See what works. And I know it works because I started with no knowledge and that's what I've had to do. And it's been very, very rewarding. Number 6 is repetition of keep it simple, stupid is key. The beauty of clothing is, from a general's term, it's a rinse and repeat process. You can apply it across, like whether it's women's, men's, different categories within those men's and women's. They're very much rinse and repeat. We got to receive it, sort it, prep it, quality check it, wash it, photo it, list it. Now, I know that's what we do with other items, but the beauty is they're pretty much the same template, whether it's tops and bottoms or anything in between. It's really just comes down to which types of measurements are different and then learning some fabrics, colors, styles, and we get into some deeper niches there. But at a high level, it's very easily to process enable compared to some of the other areas that I'm selling in. And it means that it makes it very easy to turn it into a routine versus a chore. And it makes it very easy to outsource or have someone else do it with you or for you. So that's really been probably one of my biggest focuses because I've wanted to build a business that isn't a job for me. I've wanted to build a business that I own and that is making me money while other people are doing it for me. This is enabling that to happen. But it also takes time. You have to teach them what you've had to learn how to do it. Then you have to teach someone else how to do it. You can't just tell people, oh yeah, just go do it, because you need to make sure we're meeting quality. You need to make sure we're meeting expectations, not just from your own perspective, but also policy on eBay or whatever platform that you're selling on, and your customers' expectation as well. So when I look at this now, if I was to start again, 100%, With the information that I know now, I would start selling clothing as my focus. Now, I'm not here saying this is what you should do, but I think what you will realize as you progress down any journey of small business, when you have a better understanding, you can see that it makes so much more sense. We should have been doing this earlier, but we're usually too scared to do that. And the beauty of when we start selling, when we start a business, we all start from zero. We have a few of our own unfair advantages, but majority of the time, we're still learning 80-90% of the things as we go. If you want to start a Pokemon card business because you love playing Pokemon, you don't know how to run a business of Pokemon. You just love playing Pokemon. So you have a level of understanding of the niche, the area, what people like, what people do, how to play the game. But to sell it, to list it, to photo it, to process it, that's a whole different ballgame. You need to learn that process. Your advantage is you don't have to learn the product, right? And this applies for anything that we do in terms of business. And the clothing was no different. I wear clothes. There's some clothes that I do know, just from my own experience, but I had to learn 80-90% of it. The beauty was I was already selling. I'd already been selling for 2-3 years before I got into the clothing, which meant I didn't have to learn how to sell on eBay. I just had to learn how to sell the clothing on eBay, if that makes sense. So where from here? Well, I'm not slowing down. I'm going to continue to refine and clean up the processes and increase the volume and making sure that the quality retains itself from my brand perspective, from an eBay policy perspective, but also from a customer expectation perspective. At the end of the day, we are trying to impress our customers and make our customers happy. If they're happy, they'll come back. And if eBay is happy in the middle, we all make lots of money. It's not as simple as that, but that's really the gist of it. Now, if you've got any questions about any of this, I've been pretty high level, pretty vague, haven't wanted to get into heaps of details. Got any questions? I could do a follow-up on this if needed. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you sell clothing, how does it go for you? I know there's hundreds of people doing this in Australia, probably thousands to be honest, and we all have different models. We all have different ways of how we're doing it. I would love to hear how you're doing it. Appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.